The following is a Just Green production.
Hello, everyone. It's the week of January 22nd, 2018. My name is Taylor Cooper, and this might be news to you. What up, everybody? Week 2 of Season 3. Welcome back. Follow us on Twitter at MightBeNews247. That's MightBeNews247. You're good to see me make fun of President Trump almost on a daily basis. Follow us on SoundCloud, iTunes. Listen, subscribe, share. It's a lot of fun. We've been having a lot of fun. Glad to be back for Season 3. With me, as always, my awesome co-hosts. Say what up, Kev.
Yo.
What up, Danny?
What's up?
We're all back in action. Last week was highly successful. We had a great time. I don't even remember what we talked about. Swatting, right? We talked about swatting. What else did we talk about last week? There was a lot of shit. Covered a lot.
I forget.
It all just like runs together. Well, lucky for us and everyone else, you can go back and stream all of our episodes. Well, we have all of Season 2 and everything we've done so far for this season up on iTunes and SoundCloud.
All of one episode and all of Season 2.
Yep. Well, as of tomorrow, we'll have 2 episodes for Season 3.
Oh, shoot.
Because we're back. We're better than ever. But like we do all the time, we're going to start off with some good news.
Hey, did you hear the news?
This better be good.
You want the good news or the bad news?
Give me the good stuff.
All right. Week 2, Season 3. Good news. What up, Danny?
All right, I actually got a few stories for this week. The first one is coming out of Puerto Rico. 112 days. That is how long one school in Puerto Rico went without electricity. Finally got power restored after 112 days. Now,
Wow.
these kids were in school for this time, too, so they were going to school without power. So they finally getting back to normal life over there. Second story is coming out of Chicago. Chicago man is gaining a lot of attention for his acts of kindness. Maurice Anderson was on a train when he noticed a homeless man was only wearing one shoe and his foot was bleeding. Anderson said the homeless man told him that his feet have been frostbitten. He found out that they had the same size shoes, and without hesitation, Anderson unlaced his brand new pair of work boots and handed them over to the man along with a pair of socks. Luckily, Anderson had an extra pair of shoes in a suitcase, and he said he'd rather help the man than have people judge him.
It's awesome.
Subconsciously, the first thing that people notice about anybody
Is their shoes.
is their shoes.
And this man had a brand new pair of work boots on, unlaced them, and gave them to the guy.
That's awesome.
Is that how you look at people? I mean, do you notice shoes first?
No, that's a proven fact.
No, I'm just asking. I understand that's a proven fact, but do you guys do that? I'm trying to think, because like I feel like I would notice like a dope sweatshirt or jacket first, or like,
Yeah, I mean, I don't notice shoes that much.
Yeah, I don't think I would either.
I know.
I mean, I guess if they're like bright and like dope shoes, I would definitely look at them and be like, "Oh, those are dope shoes." But
I know
I was
people
just
that are
curious.
like real big into collecting shoes and that kind of stuff. That's something they notice.
yeah.
So my next 3 stories are actually NFL related. The first one is coming from the Eagles. Lane Johnson is using this whole underdog status to raise money for Philadelphia schools.
I saw that this morning.
Yeah. So after the Eagles beat the Falcons last week, the Eagles were the first ever NFL team to be the number 1 seed, but go into a game as the underdog. So Lane Johnson and Chris Long bought these dog masks, and they wore them on the field after the game.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, Lane Johnson had these T-shirts created. And all of the proceeds from these T-shirts that he's selling are going to help Philadelphia schools.
It's awesome.
And as of early last week, they had already sold 3,000 shirts.
Real quick, and that's amazing. But how crazy is it that the Eagles were underdogs last week as the number 1 seed going against the number 6 seed, That to me just shows how much Carson Wentz deserves the MVP.
100%.
Right? I mean, because literally, as far as the national narrative of sports talk goes, as soon as Carson Wentz went out, we were trash.
Yep.
Trash. Now, real quick, we are recording this episode on Sunday, the 21st, hours before this NFC Championship game.
Oh, I'm so fucking excited.
Now, I was tempted to just do the whole show and pretend that they won and just like celebrate, but then I was afraid that we were going to jinx it.
Yeah. Yep. I wouldn't be able to do that.
No,
Not
a good idea. Bad juju.
Yep.
All right, Danny, continue. I'm sorry.
The third story is another Philadelphia Eagle. Defensive end Chris Long is on a mission to help students prepare for college and apply for financial aid. The Chris Long Foundation and the Philadelphia Eagles have teamed up with former First Lady Michelle Obama's Reach Higher, Better Make Room initiatives and Summer Search, a youth development nonprofit. The goal of their partnership is to help college-aspiring students from low-income backgrounds across the nation apply to college, get the financial aid they need, and find the support they need to graduate.
That's awesome.
So
Chris Long's been killing it this
Chris
year.
Long's just been doing so much stuff behind the scenes. He's still playing for free. Because he's still donating all of his game checks.
Isn't that amazing?
And my last story is somebody we have talked about before. It is Mr. Colin Kaepernick.
Bravo.
Colin Kaepernick has announced that he'll donate the final $100,000 of his $1 million pledge on Wednesday. In September of 2016, Colin Kaepernick pledged to donate $1 million to various organizations that work in oppressed communities. He stood by that promise ever since, donating to 31 different charitable organizations.
Isn't that incredible?
That's awesome.
On Tuesday, the former San Francisco 49er quarterback announced on Twitter that he is set up to make his final donation of his $1 million pledge. He said, "Tomorrow, I'll be announcing the final $100,000 to complete my $1 million pledge. I'm excited to share this last round of donations with you all. You can go to my website and see all the 31 donations that I've made so far."
What's the website? It's like the Kaepernick.
Kaepernick7.com.
Yeah, that's it. I also saw that he's been doing this thing called 10 for 10 with different athletes. Kevin Durant has done one with him. Steph Curry's done one where he donates $10,000 to a charity and another athlete matches that $10,000.
That's
dope.
cool.
And he's doing it with other athletes as well. More coming up. I mean, you want to talk about a guy who puts his money where his mouth is.
Yeah, so some of the organizations that he's donated to vary from beds for single mothers and children in Georgia to suits for job-seeking men in New York City and to the Meals on Wheels across the United States.
It's unbelievable.
He's really put his money where his mouth is.
I mean, it's great because with all the criticism that he's gotten and not even just for protesting and doing and saying some of the things that he said, but now he's getting criticism for being quiet. You know, a lot of people haven't heard from him. He doesn't do many interviews. He's got a book deal, so he's working on a book where he's going to explain all this crap.
And he's not allowed to talk.
Right. And B, why should he fucking talk? He already said what he was doing, what he was protesting for, and nobody cares. Like, they don't even play that part of his interview of him talking about it. They just focus on the negative.
Yep.
Focus on the negative. So why would he talk? You know, it's just such a cool story because, like I said, of all the shit that this guy's gone through, just to do what he's doing.
Yeah,
mean, he's helping.
He's
so
really
many
stepped
people.
up. He said he was going to do something, and he's done it. And you know, you say, you know, this unsigned athlete's going to give $1 million, and you know, you don't see where it's going. Well, he's actually showing you, hey, here's 31 donations I've already made. I'm set up to make my last $100,000, which brings me up to my $1 million pledge.
Yeah,
Pretty cool.
it's unbelievable. I have another good news story. This week I was trying to look into some kind of cool science and tech stories, and I saw this one. This past week in Australia, the first ever drone rescue took place. These two teenage boys got caught in rough surf near Lennox Head, a coastal town in northern New South Wales. A riptide had pulled them from the shore. They were struggling with 9-foot tall waves.
9 foot.
9 foot tall waves.
God damn.
It's crazy in
Dude,
Australia.
that would be so scary.
Person on the beach saw these kids struggling and alerted the lifeguards. Luckily for these kids, the lifeguards were going through a training exercise with their new drone system. The instructor was showing these guys how to use this thing. Once he saw that there was an alert going on, he grabbed the remote from them, flew this drone over top these boys. It was about a half mile above them, and the drone drops its payload, which is a inflatable raft that I guess it's like a timed release where it knows where it's going to blow up. Gets down there, and the kids climb in safe. Now these kids happen to row themselves to the shore, but even if they couldn't do that, this gives lifeguards more time to get to kids. The response time for this was in between 1 and 2 minutes. And if a lifeguard had to rush from the shore into the water and swim out to these kids, would have taken more than 5 minutes.
That's great.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's pretty wild. Not all this tech stuff is Skynet.
Well, there's a lot of people that have been using drones for this kind of stuff now. I know the fire service is starting to use them for house fires because one of the officer's main jobs when he gets on scene is to do a complete 360 of a building to show where the fire's located, what dangers you have in the back, and to just get an idea of what's going on around the entire structure. Well, a lot of these fire companies are using drones to go and do this 360 for them because it cuts down the time dramatically.
Yeah.
But it also can survey the roof. So you can see if the fire's in the roof, you can see if it has vented itself, and you can see if it is safe to send firefighters on the roof to cut the vent holes to release the smoke so the firefighters inside can see.
Yeah.
So, I mean, people are using these for a lot more reasons than just for play.
Yeah.
Would the firefighters' drones be equipped with like a thermal camera instead of just a regular camera?
I mean, I'm sure that's something they could set up.
Yeah.
Right now, they're just using them for surveying purposes. A lot of
Gotcha.
people are using them to survey the roofs of structures. Because you go to a building and you really can't see what's up on the roof.
Yeah.
A lot of these old buildings have the tar roofs. Well, when that tar gets hot, it gets saggy, and that causes a very dangerous environment for firefighters to go up there. Well, now you can take this drone, fly it over the building, and you can see exactly what's going on 4 stories up before you send your firefighters up.
That's awesome.
Pretty awesome. Search and rescue type things.
Yep.
You'd use them in these California wildfires and things like that. It's pretty incredible what they're doing with the technology for it. I got my stepdad a drone for Christmas. It was cool.
Oh, yeah?
This is a little thing.
Yeah.
And I got it, and I was really excited about it. And he takes it out. He was pumped about it. He was really pumped. And he starts reading through the instructions. One of these batteries lasts 7 minutes. You can fly this thing for 7 minutes. I was like, dude, what? And it comes with 2 of them, which is fine. You get 14 minutes of flight time with the stupid thing. It takes, I think he said it takes over an hour for the thing to charge or something. Like, what the fuck? You're going to have to get a fanny pack full of batteries if you're going to make this a hobby. You know what I mean? It's cool, though. It's got a camera and all that stuff. What the fuck are you going to do for 7 minutes? You launch that thing, you better start your stopwatch. Shit wasn't cheap.
They just used drones. What was it? It was Friday. You guys hear about the old paper mill in Downtown being blown up, the smokestacks?
Mm-hmm.
They had drones flying around right over top.
Yeah.
So you could see it from like a bird's eye view of the smokestacks being blown up and falling down.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's pretty cool.
Did you guys see it?
I watched it live on Facebook.
Gotcha. Did you see it?
I saw it on Facebook.
Yeah,
as well.
I was at Boot Road Wawa when it happened. Oh,
Oh,
it was
wow.
so loud.
Was it?
It was awesome.
That's what people were saying, that the bombs blowing up were a lot louder in person than they were on the video.
They're so loud.
Yeah.
Like it shook you loud. It was
That's
wild.
awesome.
It was cool.
The next story that I saw, which was pretty cool, the International Space Station has been orbiting Earth for 7,000 days. The space station began as a single module in 1998, and people did not start living on the space station until the year 2000. Do you guys remember when they, first launched people into the space station? You remember that?
No.
You don't remember
It
that?
was 1998. I didn't give a shit about that.
Dude,
I don't remember.
you don't remember?
I mean, I remember the guy from Armageddon that was living in there, but
Yeah, that
crazy Russian.
The first human crew.
No, you were in 5th grade and we were in 6th grade when that happened.
I remember it. I didn't know if you guys did or not. I remember it because this stuff always fascinated me. I was like, "There's people living in space now. Like that's pretty cool." Back then, that wasn't even a thing.
Do you know how long the average person goes up and lives there for?
3 to 6 months at a time.
That's
Could
you imagine?
The one guy did it for longer, and just to see they were testing the results of long exposure in space, and he actually started to shrink, like his body and like his bones and everything started to like. Get
You're
smaller.
not using any muscles.
No, you're not. You're not. The first human crew arrived at the International Space Station on November 2nd, 2000. Since then, astronauts have been permanently living on the space station. The astronauts take turns rotating shifts and stay for 3 to 6 months at a time. The first crew to climb aboard the International Space Station included Space Station Commander Bill Shepard, Soyuz Commander Yuri Gizenko, he was from Russia, and Flight Engineer Sergei Krelev. He's also Russian. Let's see. 2009, the International Space Station increased the number of crew members who could reside there from 3 to 6. More crew capacity was an important improvement as it increased the number of experiments that could be considered or conducted through the space station at any given time. By November 2nd, 2010, the space station officially traveled 1.5 billion miles.
Damn.
Pretty awesome.
Could you imagine taking a poop in
Yo,
zero
seriously,
gravity?
I'm thinking about this right now. I'm literally thinking about this right now. I'm waiting for him to stop so I can talk about it.
You're talking about pooping in space?
Yeah, could you imagine taking a shit? Like, when that turd, like, launches out, do you launch up?
No.
Like,
'cause
rocket power?
Like,
No.
does a fart propel you through the space
So
station?
well, it might. A fart might. But when you take a shit in space, there's a toilet that you sit on, and you have straps so you can, like,
So you have to strap in
use
to take a
leverage.
dump.
Yes, absolutely. Because there's a vacuum that hooks up to your asshole, and it sucks that shit straight out of you.
So you don't have to push; it just sucks it right out.
Well, I'm sure you have to push initially just to give it that initial.
What?
Yeah, dude. Oh, and it's the same thing for pissing. You're not just peeing and it just goes up
You
everywhere.
put the suction cup on your
You
dick?
put a
Yeah,
ding dong
just-
on your.
yeah,
you
you
put a
put a-
vacuum on your ding dong
Yeah,
and take a
dude,
leak.
That's how it works. It shoots that shit right out into space. Space waste.
It's like you're getting a blowjob and taking a piss at the same time.
Hell yeah.
Sign me up.
Yeah. It's crazy. In 2016,
Seriously, I'm sitting here thinking about taking a shit in space, and you bring it up.
oh my god.
It's the only thing I could think about when you're talking is,
No,
I
you
wonder what
sit
it's like
down.
to take a shit in
He
space.
said 3 to 6 months. I'm gonna have to poop before then.
Well,
What's
yeah.
it like?
I don't know how zero gravity affects your digestive system, but I know they eat like foam in space. Like the shit is garbage.
Freeze dried ice cream.
Yeah, they had one of the. This was like a few weeks ago. One of the scientists that were up there was like Italian guy, and he was up there for I think close to 6 months, and he was leaving the space station within a couple weeks. But on a supply run, they dropped him off supplies to make space pizza, because pizza is like one of his favorite things to eat or whatever. So they got him this stuff to make space pizza, which looks like the Lunchables pizza. You know what I'm talking about? It's just like this cracker that you put sauce on and then some cheese.
That's why people are shrinking up there.
Yeah, right.
They're eating space pizza.
Yeah. Another interesting fact, though, in 2016, NASA astronaut Scott Kelly grew the first flowering plants in space. This experiment marked a very important step forward in the eventual space travel when humans may have to grow their own food on board a spaceship. The plants were zinnias, and although they initially experienced watering issues, Kelly and his crew eventually were able to grow beautiful blooming flowers.
All
In
right.
space.
When people have to be in space,
Yeah.
the first thing that I'm going to be worried about is not flowers.
Well, no, they were talking about it because
I'm going to be worried about what it's like to take a dump in space.
I'm going to be worried about if you can cook bacon or not in the space station.
Nope.
No, that grease would go everywhere.
No, well, that and you can't have an open flame in space. Like, you can't do that.
Because there's no oxygen.
Right.
It'll burn up all your oxygen on the space station.
Right.
Or a bomb.
Or it would just create a bomb. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
It might be worth it for a fresh slice of bacon in space.
You're going to have to bring up that, like, already pre-cooked shit.
Why did the space station crash? Oh, Dan was cooking bacon up there.
Well, the thing about it, I know for a fact that I'm too tall to be an astronaut. I can't be an astronaut. So I'm stuck on Earth unless they come up with taller spaceships. I don't know how that works. I think you're allowed to be like 6'1" or something.
Yeah, but when everybody's evacuating Earth,
They're going to be like, you're too fucking tall. You're a freak. You have to stay here. Me and LeBron James. It'll just be like me, LeBron James, and a bunch of NBA players.
And Shaq.
Yeah. Bunch of people that either look like they should play basketball or definitely do play basketball. It's going to be the people that are left here. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I mean, the space station, it's far from done. They're still going to be using it. It's going to be critical in future missions that are going to take us to places like back to the moon and over to Mars. Which brings me to my next story that I found that was very interesting. They found newly released NASA images show layers of ice peeking out of eroded cliffs, a potential boon for future human inhabitants on the red planet. This is from National Geographic. The last story about the space station, sorry, it was from Newsweek, by the way. But these pictures are really neat. You should go check them out on National Geographic if you can or if you care. But they found a ton of ice on Mars, which is huge. That's huge because that allows us, A, to make water for ourselves, to drink if we get there. And they can do a whole bunch of other shit with it.
H2O.
Make oxygen, things like that. Which I've heard a lot of different crazy possible plans that they want to do for Mars to make it ready for us, including running an asteroid into it to hopefully create, enough dust and melt some of this ice to make water already and create more of an atmosphere, which I think would just be wild.
How can they run an asteroid?
Well, like they would have to land on it and basically propel it towards it, like put thrusters or something on it, or
Armageddon.
Yeah,
This
exactly.
straight Armageddon shit.
Exactly. Movies, I'm telling you, that's why I like sci-fi movies, because that shit, it happens eventually. Not all the time, but sometimes.
Yo, have you guys seen a show on Netflix called Black Mirror?
Dude, I need to
I've been
watch
hearing
it.
a lot about it.
Yo, it is weird and it's futuristic. Like the first episode, not so much. I'm like 3 episodes in now, and it is so futuristic. If that shit happens, I don't want to give any spoiler alerts because you guys haven't seen it yet, but the Prime Minister in the first episode has sex with a pig.
What?
Now,
That's the future, though? It's like a futuristic thing?
No.
That's what they're into? It's like a post-apocalyptic pussy-free world. They just bang pigs?
A pig, like a squealing
Like
pig.
a oink, oink, oink pig.
It was alive?
It was alive.
Did he eat it later?
No.
It's weird.
Threw up.
You threw up or he threw up
He
after he
did.
banged the pig?
He did after he banged the pig.
Now, this Black Mirror, is this one of those shows where you don't have to watch it episode by episode?
Right. Yeah.
So
Well,
every-
as far as I'm realizing, so far I'm 3 episodes in.
They're
Every episode-
non-connected?
Each episode is
One whole episode in itself. It
Yeah.
doesn't use the previous episode for
Right.
the next one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been watching that Seinfeld show
Oh,
on
that's
Netflix.
great. Did you see the Barack
Comedians in
Obama one
cars.
yet?
Yeah, it was good.
Dude, that was awesome.
All of them are good.
I'm 1 episode away from finishing The Punisher.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Jackie and I
Holy
started
Christ.
Peaky Blinders. She's never seen any of it. I've seen the first 2 seasons, but that show's awesome.
Never seen it.
You should.
Should.
Probably not. You won't. My last tech-related story is NASA runs a successful first test of a compact nuclear reactor for a future Mars base. So they're really planning on this shit.
Well, I talked about this with one of my good news stories, that they actually are making robots to go and land on places like the moon and Mars that will build structures so then you can then send somebody up to live in, and they don't got to worry about building a house.
Right.
So these robots are going to go up and do everything for them to prepare the humans to come up.
See, all right. About 4 or 5 years ago, me and my wife bought a house. And we were living in apartments and everything. And when we were looking to buy a house, I grew up my whole life in Chester County. And I wanted to stay in Chester County.
Yeah.
I am not too keen on the idea of leaving the planet.
Considering you won't even leave the county.
Seriously, though, I'm the same way. Like, I told my wife, Chester County, and not even just Chester County. I'm talking about, like, the Downingtown area.
Right.
That's where I grew up. That's what I love.
Yeah.
I don't want to leave
what
this
you
area.
know.
Yeah.
I am someone who's never left the country. I've lived many places, and it's always cool going somewhere else and doing something different and all that good stuff. It is scary. It's intimidating. But I'll tell you right fucking now, if they have a way that I can get to Mars before I die,
You're too tall.
I would love it.
You're
That's what I'm
too
saying.
tall.
They gotta like ship me separate or something. Make like another like I said, a tall, big and tall spaceship. You know,
They'll cut you in half and send you in 2 shipments.
they got 3XL sweatshirts.
and then the aliens on Mars will put you back together.
yeah, exactly.
The robots.
sit me in sections. Yeah, but I mean, they got 3XL sweatshirts. I'm wearing one right now. I need a 3XL spaceship. That's all I need. That's all it is. Get me out there. I'll lay down the whole time. You know, you can just put me to sleep or something. I don't know, but I just think that would be so wild to be, among the first people there. Maybe not the first people, because that'd be scary as shit. Because you don't know what's going to happen. But if people are living on Mars for like 10 years, they already got this shit figured out. They got actual food and shit up there that's ready to rock. Count me in. I'm trying to check it out. You imagine looking at Earth from that far away, like how crazy that shit would be? Just go up to the moon and look at it. Like I would, if fuck Mars, maybe I'd just go to the moon.
I'd go to the moon if I could.
That'd be cool, right, Kev?
No, I'm good.
As
You're
a kid,
good?
I'm
as a
good.
kid, I always thought that there was people living in the moon.
Right? You did?
Yeah, yeah.
See, I didn't think that.
Dark side of the moon.
Do you think conspiracy theory shit? But do you think that we actually landed on the moon?
Yes.
There's a lot of people that don't think that.
Absolutely
it.
landed on the moon.
You think so?
There's a flag up there. You can see it with a telescope.
Can you?
Yeah.
It's not an optical illusion.
No.
It's not you hoping that it's there.
No.
Interesting.
Is it blowing with the wind?
No, because there's no wind.
Just wanted to check.
It's interesting. I mean, space has definitely always interested me, just because it's the craziest thing ever. Like there's nothing there. It's just a void of nothing. Like there's fucking planet-sized rocks and balls of gas just orbiting.
Floating around,
Like-
ready to fuck shit up.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And the sun, that shit's wild.
Speaking of which,
Yeah.
Taylor, Michigan, this week,
Oh yeah, tell me about this.
an asteroid hit in Taylor, Michigan.
Hmm.
Like,
Were there any casualties?
no, there was no casualties, and you did a lot better of a job explaining the video.
So there's been a few like dash cam videos showing this meteor going through the sky, burning up in the Earth's atmosphere. And then you see pictures of a garage that's on fire where they say this thing struck. But afterwards, there is this strange purplish, reddish light of beam that just shoots straight vertical up in the air. Not on a diagonal, literally straight up and down, up into the sky. People are bugging out thinking it was a UFO, or if it was something else, if it was something from the government. You know,
I'm saying aliens are real people.
it's just
I
a
definitely-
vertical beam of light. You haven't seen this vertical beam of light?
I saw pictures of it. I didn't see the video.
So the video is just your normal dash cam video and showing the ball of fire coming through the sky and hitting the Earth's atmosphere and burning up.
Yeah.
But that's it. But then the pictures that people have, there was one that was taken a pretty far distance away, and it shows like a big glowing thing of fire on the ground and this vertical beam of light just shooting straight up.
Wow. And it just crashed into the earth.
Bugged out.
That's wild. They're saying a large asteroid that is listed as, quote, potentially hazardous in terms of size, will speed past Earth on February 4th, but there's no reason to panic, according to NASA. The asteroid, named 2002 AJ129, is expected to come within just over 2 million miles of Earth.
2 million miles?
Well, yeah, that sounds like a lot, but apparently, according to that picture you're showing me is wild. That's the meteor.
Yeah, so you can see the ball of fire on the ground
and the light, the beam coming straight down.
Straight. Now this
That's
picture,
like some Independence Day shit.
Yeah, this picture is kind of crooked, but it
looks crazy.
A straight beam of light just shooting up into the clouds.
Now,
it's bugged out.
Let me ask you something while we're talking about this, and then we're going to take a break. If there was an Armageddon type scenario where they were just like, holy shit, this fucking thing there's no way that this thing isn't going to crash into Earth. This is some global ending shit that's about to happen. What would you do? No. Hold on. Would you just stay where you are and just let it happen?
Let me interrupt you for a second.
Would you try to get the higher ground?
That shit just happened in Hawaii. I mean, it wasn't a space coming from space threat, but they were sitting in Hawaii and like 8:30 in the morning or something across the news and across cell phones and everywhere. They had a message come across saying that a missile was heading for Hawaii. A ballistic missile, I believe, was heading for Hawaii.
Yeah.
I mean, in that type of situation, what would you do?
I would just, if I was in Hawaii, I would just go to the beach.
This went on for 36 minutes, I believe.
Yeah.
This alert
Dude,
was
there was a soccer game going on. I believe it was a soccer game. And it went across the big screen in the stadium saying there is a missile.
Now, why is Hawaii the only place that can do this, that can send out messages like that?
It was so my research on this was they were doing a test. And there's a little pool. Whoever was in charge of this test was sitting in front of his computer screen, and there's a little pull down message that says threat and test threat. And he accidentally, instead of clicking the test to run the test, he clicked the one that says there's an actual threat.
Yeah, I understand that, but there was also reports that Hawaii is the only state that can send out messages like this across your TV, across your cell phone. Like your cell phone now, it can receive Amber Alerts and that kind of
they're
stuff.
They're the first line of defense, technically, because they're the furthest thing west. So, like, they're the ones that are closest to Japan and Koreas and stuff.
Yeah, because I know people were saying, well, if Hawaii can do this, can send out those messages like that, the alerts on the phones, everybody got a text message. Why can't every other state set something up like that?
They do for other kinds of emergencies.
But nothing like that.
Nothing like this. Because, like, Iowa or even Pennsylvania isn't going to get, like, we're not going to know that a missile's coming before Hawaii. Or Alaska. Like, they have bases in Alaska that watch Russia and shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because the West Coast is the closest thing to those places.
But yeah, if you were in Hawaii and if you got that alert, what goes through your mind?
Dude, like you said, you go, like, if that's really what's happening, you get a drink.
You find the people that you love, you care about.
Sit on your roof and say, all right, let's go.
Yep.
This is it.
Bring
you
it
get
on.
a drink, you sit down and enjoy your last half hour.
Right, because, I mean, what else can you do?
Nothing. You're on an island.
Yeah. Well, even here, if you found out that a meteor was going to hit, an asteroid is going to hit the greater Philadelphia area, what do? Do you try to get out of town?
I'd lock the kids in the bedroom, take the wife to the bedroom, because I'd want to go out with a bang.
Wow. It's good. It's a good plan.
I mean...
And then after you're finished, kiss your kids and get
like,
them
hi,
up.
kids. See you in the funnies.
And end of the world sex. There's, like, makeup sex, and then there's, like, morning sex, and then there's, like, apocalypse sex. I bet that shit's
straight
wild.
apocalypse fucking all over the place.
I'm gonna fuck you like I'm never fucking you ever again.
Doing shit I'd never do before,
Yeah,
like the
right.
reverse donkey. Give her dirty Sanchez. I've always wanted to do this. Now I'm gonna look at you afterwards.
One more thing real quick before we take a break, because we need to take a break. SpaceX launched a rocket this past week with a top secret payload, the Zuma spacecraft. Not a lot's known about it. They launched out of Florida, and there was a problem when it was trying to establish orbit around the Earth, something failed to like disconnect. Like the spacecraft couldn't disconnect from the actual rocket that got it up there. And so the rocket eventually just pulled it back into the atmosphere and it burnt up. It's gone. And nobody's commenting really what it is.
They're not saying what the payload was?
No. It's a spacecraft, but they don't know what it is. People are speculating that it's some new, spy telescope thing, something. I don't know.
Whatever it is, it probably cost a whole shitload of money.
It's a lot of money. And SpaceX, people are kind of upset about it, but SpaceX is still moving forward with everything that they're doing because they're saying it wasn't their issue. It was a disconnect problem that came from the company that built the spacecraft that was lost.
Now that company's out of business, what is
Well, SpaceX is working with other companies to create rockets as fast as they can because eventually SpaceX is going to start taking astronauts into space, which they are not currently doing. All the rockets that they've been launching are unmanned rockets that they basically control from the ground, which is wild. You got like a remote control rocket. You know what I mean?
Think about flying a drone, and these people are flying fucking rockets.
But they're going to start sending astronauts up there because as of right now, all the astronauts that go into space go through the Russian space program.
really?
Like even ours, like all international astronauts that go to like the space station and stuff, like we were talking about earlier, go through the Russian space program. America, like even SpaceX has sent supplies to the space station, again, unmanned, which is why even crazier. You imagine docking with a space station with like 6 people living on there with a remote controlled thing. Well, I think what happens there is like when they get it up there, they turn control over to the people on the space station, which is even crazier. Like, dude, technology's wild. It's cool. SpaceX, check it out. We've talked about it on Might Be News. It's big time.
You heard it here first.
Follow us on Twitter at Might Be News 24/7. That's Might Be News 247. We're going to take a little quick break. Come back with What's the Point? We got a late review that I listened to, and my co-host hated. Spoiler alert. I'm going to go on a rant about it too, because I'm mad.
So get ready.
Get ready, because I'm mad. All right, we're going to take a little break. Here's a beat that I made at one point or another. Check it out. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Might Be News, Season 3, Episode 2.
Whoa!
Get at us on SoundCloud, iTunes. Follow us on Twitter, all that good stuff. We got, what's the point coming up here? You guys all got that ready?
Yeah.
Ready to rock?
Yeah,
All right,
yeah,
here we go.
yeah.
Here we go. What's the point?
Is there a point to this?
What is your point?
Are you just gonna sit there and look stupid?
Listen, before we do this, I just want to point out that in the last segment, I was speaking about the International Space Station, which is a great achievement in human history. All right? And all you guys can think about is how you shit in space.
That does not make you curious.
No, because I already know how you shit in space. I guess at one point in my life, I might have been curious, and that's how I know what I know about it. But
Well, to find out that you have to go and look it up,
yeah,
are there YouTube videos of it? Because I would like to see.
that I don't know. That I don't know. I've never seen YouTube space shits. Try, I guess.
A big suction on your asshole.
We'll look at that after the show, I guess.
Does
We'll
it
see
leave
if
a
it
hickey
exists.
around your ring?
You know, I don't know. I don't know how intense the suction is.
You still have to wipe as much.
There you go. Do they have toilet paper?
I don't know. That's probably, I would assume
See,
so.
This is all stuff that we think about.
Wow.
You're in space for 3 to 6 months. I need to know how I'm going to take a shit in the morning.
Well, yeah, that's definitely something I would ask before I get shot into space for 3 to 6 months, for sure. You know, so I guess, yeah. It just struck me as funny that you guys literally went right there. Like you made a beeline for how to use the toilet in space. It's not like about the milestones or anything, but just tell me how I do it. All right, my point for this week, I saw a story that the same company that makes that fentanyl shit that people are putting in heroin and killing everybody has made a synthetic marijuana, a synthetic THC product that they are deeming safer than marijuana and would be legal to. It's a what is it called? A Schedule II drug. It would be considered a Schedule II drug, as opposed to Schedule I, which is where marijuana is now,
Next to heroin.
next to heroin, next to cocaine, next to all of those other things.
Let's just say this. Fentanyl is so dangerous that there are actual cops, firefighters, paramedics that are overdosing just from
Touching it.
touching it. The littlest bit gets on their hand,
Yep.
gets into their system,
Yep.
and they actually carry the Narcan for police and firefighters and EMTs if that happens. It
Yeah.
is that dangerous.
Wait. So is fentanyl like a liquid or is
No,
it
it's like a powder.
powder.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you know how you go into the supermarket and they have the wipes for the carts?
Yeah.
They're actually saying you should do that more than ever right now, because if somebody who is a heroin user has any residue on their hands and they get it on that cart, if you touch it, it gets into your system.
Heroin.
Fentanyl.
Fentanyl.
Yeah.
The littlest drop, I'm talking like the size of a grain of salt,
Yeah.
is deadly.
Deadly, dude.
Deadly.
Get
Touch,
the fuck out of
get
here.
it on your finger, it gets in your system, done.
You
Overdose.
find it in painkillers, right? That's
Yes.
where they primarily use it. It's so crazy, man. Like I look at this stuff and it just blows my mind that, I mean, I'm not talking about fentanyl it's available in drugs. You can get it, not over the counter, but you got to get prescribed shit that has it in it. But people are adding it to heroin, and it's just causing this massive epidemic of people overdosing and dying. And the same company who manufactures that shit has now made a synthetic THC product that the DEA considers Schedule II and could be legally prescribed by doctors. Now, I'm fine with the fact that it can be prescribed by doctors, but why wouldn't it be the real thing? Why does it have to be synthetic?
Why does it have to be something that's made? Why can't it just be grown?
The reason is simple. It doesn't say that in this article, but the reason is simple.
So the drug companies
It's
are still
because
making money.
you can't make it. I can't make it.
They
I
can
grow
regulate it.
weed. I don't grow weed, but I could. But I can't sit in a lab and make whatever this shit's called. You know what I'm saying?
Well, if anybody's just out there growing pot and smoking it, the drug companies aren't making money.
Correct.
If they're processing the synthetic THC, they're still making money.
Right.
They can regulate it.
Yeah. They can
Well,
tax. Well, I guess
they can
tax
regulate.
pot too.
They can regulate pot too. But the point blank, what you just said is the drug companies aren't making money off that, unless they are making marijuana, unless they're growing marijuana, which I don't know why they wouldn't at this point, but they're certainly getting cut out of their normal intake because other people can grow it too and just as good as them. It's just crazy, man. There's no reported deaths of the shit ever. And it's not listed as being as safe or safer than alcohol.
Sickening.
What's your point? Whoever wants to go.
I'll go. So last night, I saw this video of this new no-name, not really famous YouTuber.
Mm-hmm.
And he put himself in a situation in New York City where he's walking around just like a regular person.
Yeah.
And he was not noticed by anybody.
Do you know this guy's name?
I had his name.
Go ahead. I'll
Keep
look
talking
it up.
about it.
I'll
We'll
look
look
it
it
up.
So he put himself in a situation where nobody realized who he was, and he's just walking around, doesn't get noticed by anybody, and he has this brilliant idea of, let me pay 2 big security guards and a group of, it was either 3 or 4 photographers.
His name is Brett Cohen, by the way.
Cohen.
YouTube
Yeah, that's right.
/ Brett Cohen, Cohen.
He paid 3 or 4 photographers and 2 security guards to follow him around the city
Yeah.
and pretend that he's famous. And I just want to make it a point that I find it absolutely sickening how much the United States, America, the people,
They went bananas.
dude, they went absolutely berserk because
Bananas.
these people thought that he was in Spider-Man or he was some famous singer, and people didn't know who he was, but were sitting there saying how, oh, I loved him in Spider-Man, or I heard his first single on the radio. I don't remember the name of it, but I loved it. Just because he was around or made people think that he was famous, they all lined up to take. Dude, this dude was surrounded by thousands of people.
Thousands of people.
Thousands of people.
Yeah.
And all it took was for 6 people around him to pretend that he's famous.
Yeah.
For thousands of people to think that he is.
Freak out. Now, in defense, just a little bit, he was in Times Square where there's already hundreds of thousands of people there. But you're right. It was funny, but like funny, haha. All of you people are morons.
Stupid.
Like, as I was watching it, I was like, you fucking idiots. Like, if I was in that situation, I would like to think that I would look at this guy, not know who he was, and kept walking. And I'm sure there was plenty of people who did that, but this video was pretty crazy because it was kind of a slap in the face to just how stupid people are these days.
Well, he walked through first in just regular street clothes.
Yeah, during the day.
And not one single person turned their head to look at him. And all he did was hire those few people, put on some nice clothes, and all these ladies, oh my God, he's so cute.
I love him.
He's
I
so
love
handsome. He's so good looking. I loved him in Spider-Man. And it's crazy.
And he wasn't even in Spider-Man.
No.
Right? He's like a nobody. He's
Nobody.
just a guy.
Nobody.
Wow.
Nobody.
It is absolutely sickening how much the people are obsessed with fame.
Yeah.
Period. Fame. Period. Like
And money. Because with
that's
fame
what it comes
comes
with.
money.
Yeah, but dude, I'll be the first person to say, like, if I don't want to be famous because I don't want to be in that situation where you can't go out to the grocery store by yourself, or
Right.
you can't go out to Times Square and go sightseeing. But I would love to be rich.
Right.
But and I can tell you right now, if I were to come into a great deal of money, hundreds of millions of dollars, Facebook gone.
Yeah.
Like, I want no ties to anybody.
Anything. Yeah.
Anybody except for people that I'm close with, and fuck everybody else.
Yeah, text me. If you have my number, you can use it. But other than that, that is crazy. Danny, what's your point?
All right, so there's a lot of controversy going around the NFL again, especially with last week's playoff game between the Saints and the Vikings.
Again, we haven't seen the championship games yet. So, fuck.
Yeah. A lot of people are saying that the NFL is rigged. There were a few plays last week that shows that a lot of people are saying that the Patriots pay the refs.
That's been going on for weeks now.
For a long time.
There's been a lot of controversial plays this year, play calls this year involving the Patriots, and they have benefited from, I think, all of them.
They have.
Yeah.
They have, especially when they played the Steelers. You know, there's a lot of controversy calls that go on with that. But this play that happened last week with the Saints and the Vikings, the Saints came back late in the game. Drew Brees got his team in a position to kick a field goal to take the lead with only like 25 seconds left, and Casey Keenum took his team downfield. There was 10 seconds left on the clock, no timeouts, and he has this Hail Mary pass that is caught. If you watch the play, you can see two plays where it looks like that it was intentional for this to happen. The first play was from the defensive end from the Saints. He came off the left-hand side of the line, and he has a straight beeline straight for Casey Keenum. Like, if he keeps running straight, he's taking this guy out. He's messing the play up. He's not getting his pass off.
Yeah.
And the guy stops and spins in place for some reason. Casey Keenum has enough time. He throws the ball up in the air, and the Saints defender, Smith, is it?
Yeah.
Wasn't he a rookie?
Yeah,
He
he's
was a rookie.
Yeah.
But all he has to do is tackle this guy in bounds.
In bounds, it's over.
The game's over. The Saints win. This guy decides that he's going to dive to the left of the player, take out his own teammate, which allows the Vikings to get the game-winning touchdown.
I saw a meme for that where they say, when you're playing Madden and accidentally use your hit stick.
Oh, my God. Dude, they killed that kid this week on social media. All the memes were awesome. Like, they were great. They got him playing bongo drums and shit.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Ice skating, and he's slipping
dude,
on
he
ice.
did. He looked like an idiot. All the pictures from every angle that you look at, how could you fuck it up that bad? Like, all right, I can dig, like, hitting him and him just kind of spinning off you and whatever, but like
he missed him
you
completely.
didn't even touch him. The only guy that you hit was like you said, his own teammate.
He tucked his arms and
he
his legs
crushed that
in,
guy,
so he could not hit the wide receiver, Stephon Diggs.
It was just crazy.
Now, I always see a lot of people on Facebook talking about how the NFL's rigged, and there are how many players on an NFL team, how many coaches, how many people up in the upper office. There's over like 3,000 people involved with the NFL. You
Per
can't
team?
Well, no, like total.
Per game.
Oh.
You can't tell me that the NFL is rigged.
Yeah.
And not one single person has come out and said anything about it.
Yeah, there's too many people to pay off.
But seeing these past videos, I mean, it's starting to kind of sway my opinion to the other side just a little bit.
Well, I mean, you think about it, and only a couple people would have to know. I mean, only a couple people would have to know. You wouldn't have to let the TV announcers know. You wouldn't have to let anybody that works for the stadium know. You would only have to tell basically the owners and the coaches. That's it. You wouldn't even have to tell the players. Because as a coach, you could just call a shitty play that you know is not going to work. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, it could go down to the players, but I don't know. I don't think it's fixed necessarily, but I think that they know who they want to win.
Well, that also brings me to my next point.
As in, like, going to the Super Bowl.
Which brings me to my next point. The NFL prematurely released an ad on Facebook.
Yeah.
Said, win Super Bowl tickets to see Tom Brady take on Casey Keenum in his own house. This was beginning of last week.
Yeah.
This was before the Jags played the Patriots and before the Eagles played the Vikings.
Even Google thinks that the Patriots and the Vikings are in the Super Bowl.
Somebody from the NFL Network released this poster with Tom Brady and Casey Keenum and the Super Bowl trophy saying win tickets to see Casey Keenum take on Tom Brady for the Lombardi trophy.
Yeah.
Now, as an Eagles fan who has their team still in it, who is playing today at 6:40, it makes me wonder,
Right.
what's going on? Like,
Yeah.
God forbid if the Eagles do lose today to the Vikings.
How are we going to feel about it?
Was there
tomorrow?
something involved with that loss
Right.
to make it so? By
And
the
then
way,
anybody who's not an Eagles fan would be like, ugh, typical Eagles fan shit. But like, if they just spelled it out for us, how are we not supposed to think that?
I mean, if you don't know, the Super Bowl this year is being played in Minnesota. If Minnesota does get to the Super Bowl, it'll be the first time in NFL history that there will be home field advantage for the Super Bowl. First time. So, I mean, that plays a little bit into it, but
Will they set aside half of the tickets for the opposing team?
now it's just
No.
first come, first serve.
Yeah.
Really?
Now, I know with the Eagles, if you are a season ticket holder, if the Eagles make it to the playoffs, you get first dibs at those playoff tickets. I don't know if that'll work for Minnesota too for the Super Bowl, because there are fans
People
from
already purchased their tickets like months ago.
yeah,
for
there
the
are
Super
fans
Bowl.
from every team that buy tickets just to go to the
Just
Super
to
Bowl.
go.
Gotcha.
So I don't know if that's playing anything into it or not, but there's a lot of stuff going on right now.
Real quick before we move on, fuck the Patriots.
Yes.
New music for this week before we do the late review. Dave East put out his new album, P2. I listened to some of it. It's very good. Burner just put out a new album, The Big Pescado. Very good. Fall Out Boy's new album, Mania, came out on Friday. Eden came out with Vertigo, an album that I am currently hooked on by Sir called November. He's on the same label as Kendrick Lamar. It's some R&B kind of stuff. Very good. Very good. Fetty Wap just came out with his new album, For My Fans. Landco, never heard of them, just came out with their album, Hallelujah Nights. Kids Bop, 37.
37.
Just came out. Of Mice and Men came out with Defy, a new album. Justine Skye, Ultraviolet, just dropped. Moon Taxi, Let the Record Play is the new album. Let's see. Anybody else I know? First Aid Kit, don't know them. Ruins. Black Label Society came out with the greatest hits. Somebody named Philip Phillips. You imagine that being your name? That's
Yo,
stupid.
Philip Phillips won American Idol.
Oh, for real?
He's extremely good.
It's his real name?
Yeah, Philip Phillips.
It's weird.
He's really good. I
Real-
love his music.
real creative. His parents were real creative.
Yeah. No, he's legit. He sounds like a mix between Mumford & Sons and Dave Matthews.
He's got a new album called Collateral. If you're a fan of the same name people.
Same.
I'll be checking that out.
People who have the same name twice, pretty much. That's about it.
Dude, I
This
didn't
week.
recognize Philip Phillips. I know he does that song Home. I know him, but besides Fetty Wap and Fall Out Boy, you just gave us a whole list of people. I didn't know one single one of
Well,
them.
Kev, it doesn't matter to me what you think about that segment because you don't listen to music.
Nope.
Somebody else could have been like, "Oh, I've been waiting for this Ultraviolet album to come out," or something. I don't know who half those people are either, Kev. But I would like to think that we have more musically inclined listeners than I do co-hosts.
Oh,
Which brings me to my next point.
Oh, ouch!
We're running out of time, so I'm going to skip the late review intro. But this week we did the Arctic Monkeys, 2013
Brass monkey, that
classic
funky monkey.
AM.
the hell is Classic AM?
It's a radio station.
The album is called AM, and it
Okay.
is a classic.
Oh, no, it wasn't.
It's a pop rock masterpiece. Borderline.
Pop rock masterpiece.
I'm going to tell you why I give it an 8.
Okay, go ahead.
All right? There's 12 songs on here. It's a very great mix of up-tempo mixed with some nice slow songs.
And a lot of whining.
It sounds like they're whining because they're British.
Well, the
I
whining.
understand what you're saying, but they're British, and that's why it sounds like they're whining all the time. That's my opinion. Because the weather's probably terrible over there when they're writing these songs.
So they're just constantly depressed.
They
They're
just
whining
have-
about
they just have
everything.
tea and crimpets all the time. I'd be mad too. They don't even have pancakes. They have crepes.
Crepes.
Yeah, that would make me mad.
I'd be mad. Anyway,
You see, they're opening an IHOP in Exton.
Really?
Where
Yeah.
the Ruby Tuesdays was.
you guys just don't want to talk about this album.
You just got me excited about pancakes. I'm hungry now.
They have a number of a couple of radio hits that were huge. Do I Want to Know is on this. Are You Mine was on the radio. Why'd You Only Call Me When You're High is another song that I enjoyed. But besides that, Arabella is a great song. Knee Socks. You guys probably didn't even listen to the whole thing to get to Knee Socks, but it's one of the greatest songs on the album. Fireside is very good. I Want to Be Yours. Number one party anthem. This album is track to track, in my opinion, very well put together. Great sound. That being said, I don't like any of their other albums. I don't like any of their other albums cover to cover like I like this one. This one was definitely made for the radio. Like they wanted to get bigger, and it definitely worked. So kudos to them. I give it an 8.
How long ago did this album come out?
2013.
2013.
The
they
reason I
wasted
picked
their
it is
time.
because they haven't done a live show in a long time, and I guess they're doing one of these big festivals. So I was like, oh, I'm going to listen to this album. I haven't listened to it in a while, and I was like, it's really good.
It was a waste of their time and mine.
Wow, Kev,
Yeah.
what did you give it? Don't even
So-
review it. Just tell me numbers.
No, what was the first song on the album? What is it called?
Do I want to know?
Do I want to know?
Yes, radio smash.
Do I want to know? Do you want to know
Oh,
my
God.
rating?
You've been waiting
Zing.
all week to say that.
Zing.
I know it. You've been waiting all week to say that.
No, I actually didn't know the name of the name of the first track, but I'll give it a 2 because some guy I know covered that song and I dig it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that's about it. I
Yeah.
did not like the album. I didn't. I was in the middle of listening. Oh my God, I can't even talk. But I was in the middle of listening to it while I was messaging you guys on Facebook. And Danny, you said it perfect. Whiny.
Yeah.
This coming from someone who loves Pearl Jam.
Okay, they're a great band.
He
This
sounds like
band
he's
is not.
whining.
Nope.
He sounds
Nope.
like he's wanting
You're wrong.
all the time.
This is garbage.
Wow.
So I listened to it to and from work.
All the way through.
Yeah. Do I Want to Know? Are You Mine? I definitely recognized from them playing on MMR. So I do like those songs. After that, I would listen to about 45 seconds to a minute of every other song.
You can't even give me a hard time anymore.
And seriously, the whining. It's too whiny for me, and I would skip the song because it's not something that I enjoyed listening to. I did like those 2 songs, so I'll give them a 4 out of 10.
4 out of 10. Listen to me, guys. I'm going to tell you something. I am no longer going to bring you into the conversation as far as me coming up with a group for this thing.
Guess what?
Listen, every time we switch, so this week it's going to be somebody else's turn to pick. But when it's my pick again, I'm just going to disregard your feelings.
Listen, you
I
just
know-
stick to your R&B and your rap.
I pick things sometimes based on do I think you guys are going to like it. I try to find things that I think you guys are going to like.
You've been doing a terrible job.
Terrible job. I've been doing a terrible job. So you know what? I'm just going to give up. I'm just going to give up.
Because
I'm gonna pick
you're
the
gonna
things
get
that I want to pick.
Dude, you're gonna get 2s from me from the rest of the
But
forever.
you know what? I'm going to try, and I'm going to still get 2s all the time. And
2s.
it hurts my feelings. Okay? Hurts my feelings, Kev. So from now on, I'm going to pick exactly what I want to pick.
Wu-Tang.
I'm not going to think about it. You know what? I'm not even going to include you guys in my reasoning behind my pick. I'm just going to say, you know what? I'm just going to get a 1 or a 2. Maybe I'll get lucky with Danny. I'll get a 6 somewhere.
I like, I
No,
like music.
I'm just giving you guys a hard
I
time.
think Danny needs to choose the music from now on.
From now on?
Yeah.
No, Kev.
Yes.
Why
You know,
me?
because you chose the only album that I gave a 10.
That is true. I did choose Citizen Cope.
You know what, Kev? I could give 0 shits what you think musically. All right?
Dude, that you can't say that's a solid 8. You can't.
What, this album?
Yes.
I just did.
Yeah.
I give it a solid 8.
I'm saying you're dead wrong.
Rock hard 8. It's
No.
like an 8 that you can't punch through. Right?
No, it was terrible.
Wow, Kev.
I'm sure they have a fan base. They suck too.
They suck too. Everybody that's listening is like, "Oh, that was a great album." Fuck Kev. I hope that's how it goes. They're just like, God, Taylor's fucking picks suck.
So whose pick is it for this week?
It was his.
No, for the next one.
For the next one, you want to take it, Kev?
Yeah, because I did the end of the season.
I'll come up with something.
Oh yeah, come up with something great, Kev.
Yeah,
We're gonna
I
listen
got
to-
you.
Yeah, great.
And on next week's episode, we review Pearl Jam.
Yeah. Oh my God. I'll pull a Kev and just not listen. I'll pull a Kev and just come in and be like, 1. I listened to 3 seconds of track number 1, so I give it a 1. That's all I could listen to, bro. You're whack. All right. Thank you guys for listening. We're out of time, so we're going to head out of here. Hopefully the Eagles win tonight.
God, I'm so excited.
God, freaking out. So thanks again for listening. Follow us on Twitter at Might Be News 24/7. That's Might Be News 247. SoundCloud, iTunes. Get at us. Talk to us. We want to talk about what you want to talk about. Until next week, say peace out, Kev.
Yeah, see you later.
Peace out, Danny. You are stupid as fuck.
Later.
All right, thanks, guys. See you next week. Stupid as shit.
It was fun, though.